Ahoy toy! Welcome to Transfixed, the channel that can face any problem. So this week we're looking at some faces. We're looking at BLURR, and we're also going to look at KUP. But starting with BLURR, this is a great figure. I mentioned before, I'm really loving the main line of Transformers. The Studio Series is excellent. Quality has gone up, the joints are better, paint is good, the whole overall design is great. And they're giving us stuff that looks like the cartoon, which is right up my alley, of course. But I was looking at this figure, and I asked myself, the same thing that children at school used to ask me, what is wrong with his face?
What's wrong with your face?
It's so close, it's great, but there's something with the head sculpt that isn't right. And I thought, the way the helmet sort of part of the head fits down here and these squares here, this is all accurate. I looked at pictures of the cartoon and the movie, and I think it's great, even the little yellow bit here, but I finally figured it out. It's his chin. His chin is too big. It hangs down too low. The chin and the face is supposed to come to, well, in line with these squares on the helmet part of the head, or just a bit below, depending on which frame of the animation you look at. And of course, there's a simple fix for that, which is plastic surgery. Haha. We're just going to chop it off, and that's what I did. I'm sorry, I already did this before it occurred to me to make a video, which happens to me all the time, oddly enough. But this is what it looked like before the operation. So this is the stock BLURR, and this is what we've done to him. This is how we've trimmed that chin and made him look a little bit more, I think, more accurate and less ugly. And you can remove the head. Now, it's a good idea to heat it up. Use the good old heat gun or hair dryer if you have one. Some people like to boil their Transformers. That just makes me nervous. And you don't have to heat it up, but it makes it easier. There's a channel you can see behind the head there, the neck, and you just want to push it back. So just get a good grip on it, hold the figure, and then slide towards the back, and it'll pop loose, and then you can just pull it out like that. Ow, that hurt my thumbs, but yeah, some heat would have helped there. So yeah, it's a ball. It goes in there. When you are done, you will reinsert it the same way, but it's easier to operate when it's out. You won't risk damaging the rest of the figure. Actually, I suppose you could just do it while it's attached to the figure, but I just think this is easier. And all we did was just find a flat surface, put this on. Now, I always advise you start small. You can always take off more plastic. You can't put it back on. So first, I just found a line where I wanted it and just got a hobby knife like this and just pressed down. I guess you could use an X-Acto knife too, like a box cutter. Anything that's nice and sharp. And of course, be careful. Do not cut yourself. Make sure your fingers are out of the way and clear. And you can just go ahead and press it down. Unless you want to cut your nails like I probably should, or if your fingers are too long. Anyway, yes, just cut it. And then I did about 2 cuts. I think I cut one chunk off. It wasn't quite enough, so I did a little bit more. So now I have it about just a hair below what I'm calling the helmet, right? And I like it like that. Now, if you get a nice clean cut, there's nothing else you have to do. You could maybe sand this, I suppose, if you have some very, very fine sandpaper, but I don't think you need to. Maybe some heat. Actually, let me try some heat and see if those lines disappear. And of course, you could also paint this if you've got the kind of paint which this is. I think it's just white. I thought it was an off-white, but I think it's just white. I did try to dot the eyes with a little bit of paint too. Unfortunately, you cannot separate this. At least I don't think you can. I was hoping I could take off the light piping part of the back here and also paint his eyes a brighter blue, because this light piping doesn't really work so well, and it ends up with dead eyes. I mean, if you have a light source directly behind the head, you get the light piping effect, but otherwise they look very dark. Anyhow, I cut that off, and I'm going to do the same with KUP, because I think KUP has the same problem. He's got another Jay Leno chin, and I'm gonna cut this off. I've already done a previous video about KUP where I painted the back of his chest here at windshield with the gray, and of course now they're making a second version of KUP with more cartoon accurate colors and a gray opaque chest piece, which is great because I wasted my money on this one. Thanks a lot. But yeah, I'll probably buy that one too and either swap the head or do the same surgery. But anyway, let's get KUP under the knife. He's ready for some plastic surgery. I applied a bit of heat from the heat gun on the chin, and it took away a tiny bit of that mark, I think, but not very much. I've heated up the socket, not the peg, because I want the peg to be rigid and the socket to be flexible. And that does help. There we go. Just slide it forward. Now his head's back installed, and you can see how pretty he is, and pretend that he didn't look like that when I began the video. Let's look at KUP now. So I'm going to try to do this on camera. I should probably remove the head off the KUP as well. This should be a ball joint. Whoa. Lift up the head panel, a little bit of heat to the bottom of the socket there, and we'll get this head popped right out. Much easier if you can heat the socket. Okay, so let's take off.
I'd like to take his face off.
I think if we take off about that much chin, again, maybe down to the bottom of the helmet area. So fingers clear, just rock this back and forth and get a nice straight cut if I can. Alright, his chin's gone flying. That's hopefully straight, probably not as straight as I wanted it to be. But I think that's better already. That looks a little more like the cartoon, doesn't it? What we want. Okay, let me just make sure that's straight and clean it up off camera because which I like to show these things on camera, it is a lot more difficult. Also, my eyesight has started to go, so I like to use these glasses that I found on Amazon. They're 3 times magnification and they have little LEDs in the arms. So these are great for hobbies. I'm doing this kind of work. Okay, so I just took a little bit of a shave off of his chin again with that knife, and sorry about my ugly hands being in here, but there's the modified head. I don't know, I might have taken a little too much off.
I may have gone too far in a few places.
I'm not sure, but I think it's better still. I think I better heat that up again. No, yeah, I better heat that up. By the way, this is the heat gun that I use. It's really good for this type of thing. And I'm sorry, I just went ahead and popped the head back in off camera. Sorry about that. But there he is. Now he's got his head reattached. And I don't know. What do you guys think? I think it's better. Actually, looks a little younger, isn't he? I don't know. I guess that's what plastic surgery is all about. It's a regular Joan Rivers here. Cup's one of my favorite characters. In fact, you may have noticed I changed my thumbnail, my profile picture on YouTube to Cup holding a Dremel, because I realized I think I can identify more with Cup these days. He is probably the one who represents me as a crotchety old man who likes to play with toys on YouTube. So anyway. Okay, so there are my modified Studio Series Autobots with their chin surgery complete. By the way, if you want to make Cup's little Energon goodie dispenser a little more accurate, because it's clear instead of purple, you can just get yourself a purple Sharpie like this, and we'll just color this in. Because that is not supposed to be clear, that is supposed to be purple because it's Energon. Nice thing about Sharpie is that it still allows the light through. It's still translucent. So kind of like that. I'll get that finished up. So we're pretty much done now. There's Cup's head, Cuphead, and it was bothering me that he had the neck being more visible after I cut the chin. It made him look like it made him look like he was wearing a black turtleneck, and I didn't want him to be Steve Jobs, so I just put a little bit of paint there. Same color paint I used on the windshield, actually. So we'll just pop his head back in now. Oh, I should have heated this up. I don't even know what it was that snapped. Okay, now it's warmed up. Let's try it again. That's better. I almost bent his neck there. I guess that's better. And there he is with the finished up Energon goodie dispenser. Ready to deliver the universal greeting. I like it better. This is kind of the goal for me. This is what I think of when I think of Cup from the cartoons. Yeah, I'll probably replace him with the Buzzworthy version. I'm really annoyed that they did that Buzzworthy version because it is better, but it's only slightly better. I mean, you have to put them side by side to notice the difference. They should have just done it right the first time. And it's really unfortunate because, I mean, if I want to swap parts, I can only split this guy in the middle. I want his arms and legs not to match. I guess I'm going to take the head and chest off of the new version because the eyes are painted on the new one, and this one does not have painted eyes. I would replace it with the entire new Buzzworthy version, but the symbol is different. They changed this Autobot logo. The one on the Studio Series here is more G1, I guess. It's got the wider symbol. The one in the Buzzworthy is more narrow, the more modern style one. So that's a bit annoying, but Anyway, that's a nitpick that probably not a lot of people care about, just weirdos like me. So anyway, there's Kup and BLURR with their chin surgery, and I think it looks better. Maybe I'll paint the rest of this top panel part here too. Yeah, but I guess that's it. I mean, this has been a long enough video already just to say basically cut chins off of these two figures. But, you know, I guess I like to talk. So there you have it. Let me know. What do you think? Better? Worse? What do you think of the buzzworthy Kup? So that's it for this video. And remember, we can fix what has broke. That's my new motto. Good night.